morning, everyone. This is Kevin Hayden with TruthIsTreason.net, and this morning I'm headed out to the Homestead to drop off some gear as well as install my new simple pump. And if you've not heard of this, it's a manual water pump that can pull water from down to 300 feet. It's a really great tool to have, especially if you're off-grid or in remote locations, as well as protection against EMP or grid down scenarios. Like I said, it is manual, but you can put a 12 volt or a 24 volt motor on it that they sell to apply solar panels or whatever alt energy means you have. But we're gonna install it today, hopefully. It's about 22 degrees today, and so I'm bundled up and I got my gloves. But hope you enjoy it. For more information on the simple pumps, you can go to their website at simplepumps.com, or check out my buddy Mark Smith over at southernplainsconsulting.com. He is an authorized vendor, can answer all of your questions as well as get you a quote online. So check that out, and we're heading to the Elysian Fields project. Some of the packaging that the drop pipe sucker rod came in, along with a smaller box. It's got all the bushings and seals and part of the pump handle assembly. And right over here we have the actual well. It's got a large casing, and you might be able to see down there, it drops down to about a 4-inch pipe. That's the actual well. We're going to be mounting the simple pump directly onto the PVC outer pipe that's on here, and hopefully it goes pretty quickly. Alright, the well cap is typically a single piece made out of aluminum, and it's got 4 Allen wrench screws all the way around it to tighten onto the actual well casing. Really good construction. These other pieces here are in case you have a submersible already in place. You can run the simple pump alongside that. So we're about to grab some drop pipe and start putting it down the well. Once you've got your first drop pipe in, you're going to grab your next sucker rod, and we're going to attach it onto the one that's already sticking up. You're going to have to take some care doing this so you don't thread it wrong. Once you've got the second sucker rod attached, you're going to get your next drop pipe, and you're going to have to bend the fiberglass rod all the way back. And from here you're going to put on some more Teflon tape where these connect. Once you've got that and you've got them tight, you're going to drop that down, and using the safety tool so you don't drop the entire drop pipe setup down the well, make sure that's in place and secure. It definitely helps to have somebody here with you. You can get the pipes a lot tighter together, having an extra set of hands here. I think I've got mine tight enough. I'd like them to be a little bit tighter, but I think it'll be fine. We've got one more section of drop pipe to go. Boy, it definitely hurts your hands doing this, but this should be the last sucker rod. And once we get this one done, we're going to start the assembly for the actual pump head and get the handle mounted and see if it works. One thing about doing this alone is by having an extra set of hands out here to help you, you can get your connections a lot tighter. I've got mine tight enough.
I'd like them to be a couple more turned, but I think it's going to hold, so let's hope it doesn't drop down the well. Well, this is our last section of drop pipe about to put on here, and it's taken me probably about 45 minutes to an hour to get to this point. I've had 7 sections of drop pipe. You could have up to 10, 12, or even 15 depending on the depth of your well. It is pretty straightforward once you get it figured out. It's just you're repeating the same motion over and over for each section. So you know, probably 5-6 minutes each, and you get it done. That's about all there is to it for each sucker rod section. You tighten it down a little bit. Doing this by myself, I've kind of found some shortcuts to make it go a little quicker. You want to add some Teflon tape to each section. You don't need much. 1 or 2 wraps is plenty. I'm not sure if it's because of the cold weather, or I might have had a little too much tape on some of my other sections, but this PVC definitely does not want to go together very easily. Like I said, it is in the 20s right now, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But this is where that second set of hands comes in handy for one of them to hold on to the bottom while you try and tighten the top. At this point, we've got all the drop pipe down into the well. One of the last steps is this 1 by 2 inch coupling here that we threaded into the female side here. We have checked for water, and we can get water pretty easily. The water level here is only at about 25 to 30 feet. It can drop lower than that during the summertime, but we have checked and verified water. We're about to put on the well head assembly and start pumping some water. At this point, we've got the pump guide rod on, and we're about to put one of the last pieces on before we start pumping water. You want to check, make sure this is in the right spot. What we're doing right now is we're just tightening up the well head, making sure that it doesn't drop down into the well, which would obviously be bad. My drop pipe is only about 70 to 80 feet long. My well is well over 120, 130 feet. So if it goes down, there's no recovering it at all. So you want to make sure everything is very, very tight before you get up and walk away. Alright, the pipe is in place. It's good and stout. Very And here is part of the wellhead assembly. We've had to tighten down everything. I'm going to make sure all of these are very tight, especially the tension one in the back. That's what keeps this pipe from falling down the well shaft and being lost forever. I would say one very important part that is overlooked in a lot of videos, and especially the instructions, is the top. This is your sucker rod here. Make sure that it's protruding through the main shaft assembly here and put some vice grips on it or something to hold it into place. Otherwise, you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to get it. You're gonna have to disassemble it again like I did. So there's tip number 5,312 on how Kevin messes things up. This is by far one of the biggest pains in dealing with this, is attaching the pump arm to the top sucker rod or the cylinder. And you got to get it in a very small hole but not drop it while you're trying to tighten it when this handle's on a pivot point. And so yeah, once again, it's another thing to watch out for. Don't drop the cylinder down the assembly. You'll have to start all over. And here is the finished pump. It's taken me about an hour and a half to get everything done. I did install a check valve with a pressure gauge because eventually this will be outfitting the Homestead with water, so that'll prevent it from pushing more than 40 or 50 psi. I think this one's rated for 50 psi, and this pump is capable of producing well over 100 psi, so that's a good way to prevent damage to your plumbing. We're about to try it out, and let's see if it starts pumping some water. And there you have it, the simple pump. That's quite a bit of water with each stroke. That's creating quite a bit of pressure there as well. And the pump is really easy to operate. I can do it with just 2 fingers on here and pump water. So you can get a lot of water really quickly, even with the grid down or without having power on a remote off-grid place like this. So there you have it.
There you have it. We've got the pump installed and it does pump water. I had my concerns initially, but I did put it together properly, and I did it by myself. If you end up getting a simple pump, I would highly recommend having a second person out there with you. It makes things go a lot smoother, a lot safer, and you can get the pipes and the rods into a lot closer tolerances, which will eventually help the amount of water you can pull from a well with each stroke. So I would recommend that. Like I said, check out my buddy's website, southernplainsconsulting.com. He's an authorized vendor of the simple pump, and it's ideal for off-grid or remote homesteads and retreats. There's a lot of videos out on YouTube where you can see more of it in action, see how you can plumb it into a cabin or a house. But as always, check out truthisreason.net. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, and as well as the ElysianFieldsProject.com. You can follow my one-man circus show of trying to build a homestead out there, and it's just a little blog devoted to that. So check it out, send me a message, an email, hate mail, whatever, and I'll see you next time.